Hi friends, today we shall start the 12th chapter of 12th standard, Discrete Mathematics. Discrete Mathematics. It's an easy chapter which deals on sets. So I am going to take this chapter first. After completing the theory of equations or inverse trigonometry function, we shall straightly go for this 12th chapter discrete mathematics, which will be easy for us to learn also. So here we are going to study something on sets only. Before going to that, let me have a set. Let S equal to a non-empty, let S be a non-empty set. Let A comma B belongs to the set S. If I say if A star B is if star is a binary operation between A and B, between A and B, such that the result such that A star B also belonging to S, then we say the operation is possible. Then we say star is defined on S as a binary operation. So if star is a binary operation, that means operating between any two elements such that the result also in S, then we say the star S is well defined on S as a binary operation. Now we shall see some of the laws which we are going to introduce in this set. Answer, that is, first law is called closure law. Let S be any non-empty set. Let A comma B belongs to S. Let star be any binary operation. Defined on yes. That means we can operate the element between A and B. If I take two elements and if I operate, then it is known as binary operation. And that operation is well defined in S. Then A star B, the result may be some other. Then if A star B is also in S, then S is closed with respect to star, the closed law is well defined in S. This is called the closure law. If I take any two element and if I operate the given by the operation defined on S, and if I operate the result is also in the S, that is the result is also belonging to S, or the result is also an element in S, then we say S is closed with respect to star. Second law, associative law. Here we are going to take three elements. Let A, B, C belongs to S. Then A star B star C is equal to A star B star C. That is, if I operate the first two elements and then with the third element, is equal to the operation between the second element and third element. Finally, if it is operated with the first element, if both are equal, for all A comma B comma C belongs to S, then star is associative. Star is associative in S, or S is having associative law with respect to this star. This is called associative law. Then, shall go for existence of identity. Existence of identity. That is, suppose if I have any different element, let E belongs to S, such that with respect to that operation, either A star E or E star A gives me A. For any A belongs to S, then this E is called, then E, the element, E is called the identity element of S. The identity element of S. That is, in the operation S, in the operation on S, E won't be getting involved. That is, in the operation, either A star E or E star A, the operation, it will give you only A. That means E won't get involved in this operation. When we say the element which is not getting involved in this operation is called the identity element. For example, or you can take it as a note itself, in addition. Remember, in addition, any number A with 0 or 0 with A equal to A. This implies 0 is the identity element. Since it is involved in addition, 0 is the additive identity. Additive identity. 0 is called. Similarly, suppose if the operation is multiplication, in multiplication, if I multiply with 1 or 1 into A, the answer will be A. See, 1 is not getting involved in the multiplication. Therefore, this implies this 1 is the multiplicative identity. This one is called the multiplicative identity in that set. So this is called existence of identity. If I operate any element with E, the answer will be that element. That means E won't get involved, and E is called the identity element. In addition, we know 0 will be involved in addition. Therefore, 0 is called the identity element in addition. So it is known as additive identity. Similarly, multiplication, 1 won't get involved in multiplication. Either A into 1 or 1 into A will be only A. Therefore, 1 is called the multiplicative identity element. Now, fourth law. Existence of inverse element. Let me take M. Let M belongs to S. Be any element. Let M dash be also belonging to S, such that I am having another element M dash, such that either M star M dash or M dash star M, it gives me the identity as the answer. If I operate M with M dash or M dash with M, if I am getting identity as the answer, then M dash is the inverse of M. Then this implies M dash is the inverse of the element M. So, when I operate two elements and if I am getting identity as the answer, then one of the element is the inverse of the other, which we know already we studied in other topics also. So, when I operate two elements and if I am getting identity as the answer, then we say that element is the inverse of M. Note, we shall see if the operation is addition. In addition, if I take any number, maybe some A, and if I add with minus A or minus A with A, I will get the identity element 0. So, minus A is the inverse of A. So, this implies minus A is the inverse of A. For every A belongs to the set S. Therefore, all the negative elements are called additive inverse. So this implies negative numbers. Negative numbers are the additive inverse. Additive inverses. Similarly, if I take multiplication, in multiplication, if I multiply a into 1 by a or 1 by a into a, I get the answer as 1. 1 is the multiplicative identity. So 1 is the identity. So when I multiply a with 1 by a or 1 by a with a, I am getting an identity. Therefore, 1 by a is called the inverse of a. Therefore, shall we say reciprocals? Reciprocals are the multiplicative inverses. Multiplicative inverses. So these are some glimpses on the identity and also inverse. When I operate two elements and if I am getting identity is the answer, then one element is the inverse of other. That's all. When I operate two elements, if I get the element itself is the answer, then it is called an identity. Now we shall go for the next property called commutative property. Commutative property or commutative law. Let A comma B belongs to S. Then this implies if A star B equal to B star A, that is if I operate A star A and B, or if I interchange the operation and if both are equal, then star is commutative. In yes, these are the operations we have on sets. So first set is first operation. Remember closure law. Closure law. Closure law. If I take any two elements A comma B such that if A comma B belongs to S such that A star B also belongs to S, then we say S is closed. Second one, commutative law we can say. Commutative law. So once again I am repeating everything. Commutative law, that is if A star B equal to B star A, then we say it is commutative law. Okay. The star is obeying commutative law. Then associative law. Associative law means I need three elements. A star B star C equal to A star B star C. That is if I interchange the operations in groups then we say it is associative law. Then the existence of identity. Identity means either A star E or E star A equal to A. Then E is called the identity element. Identity element for the set itself. Then inverse. If I operate any two elements A star B or B star A equal to, if I get identity as answer, then one of the element is the inverse of other. That means B is the inverse of A or A is the inverse of B. So these are the 5 laws that you must know on sets. These are the things that we are going to deal with in this chapter. So it is known as discrete mathematics. Now we shall go for examples. Example 12.1. Examine the binary operation. So first of all, we must know whether this operation is existing. Examine the binary operation. First one, A star B equal to A plus 3AB minus 5B square for every A comma B belongs to Z. That means, is this operation existing in this set? That's what we have to check. certainly we used to say when only the binary operation is well defined. Suppose if I am taking A star given A star B as A plus 3AB minus 5B square. So A into B, AB, that is another integer, so definitely AB will be in Z. So I can say, well, let me find out here, A belongs to Z. AB into 3 is also belonging to Z because 3 into A into B is also an integer. Now 5 into B square means 5 into B into B. That is also 5B which also belongs to Z. Therefore all these three numbers belong to Z. So when I add or subtract, then it becomes A star B, which is A plus 3AB plus 5B square. Definitely this belongs to Z. For any A comma B belongs to Z. Therefore star is well defined on Z. Therefore star is a binary operation. So this is what we have to check, whether this operation is existing in Z or not. How can we say that this operation is existing in Z when the final answer is also in Z? So when I multiply 3AB, 5B square, and if I add with it and subtract with 5B square, definitely the whole result will be an integer. Therefore it is existing in Z. Therefore the star is well defined binary operation on Z. In that one, second question. A star B equal to A minus 1 by B minus 1. For every A comma B belongs to Q. Q means set of rational numbers or fractions we can say. Now, we shall see. A minus 1 is definitely a number. B minus 1 is also definitely a number. When I divide, definitely this will be a number or a fraction like. But what happens when B equal to 1? Here everything is existing. Only thing is when B equal to 1, then this implies B minus 1 equal to 0. Therefore A star B becomes A minus 1 by 0, which tends to infinity. Therefore star is not well defined when B equal to 1. That means star is not properly defined. Not properly defined for B equal to 1. Therefore, this is not a binary operation in Q. But suppose if I say B is not equal to 1, then it is defined in Q. Therefore, star is well defined on Q only if B is not equal to 1. So we must define in such a way the star is well defined only if B is not equal to 1. Therefore, A star B equal to A minus 1 by B minus 1 is a binary operation. Binary operation only in Q minus 1 shall be said. Only in Q minus 1. Therefore, star is not a binary operation in Q. Star is a binary operation only in Q except 1. So, we can say star is a binary operation only in Q minus 1. So, with that, this first example is getting over. Second example. Example 12.2. Verify closure law, closure property, commutative property, associative property, existence of identity, fifth one, existence of inverse. On for the arithmetic operation, plus, for the operation simple addition plus on Z. Z means set of all integers. So Z means what? Set of all integers, that is minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. This is Z. Here given plus is the binary operation. We can say plus as a binary operation on Z because plus is, we know addition is well defined in Z. When I add two numbers, we know the result. The result definitely will be in Z. Okay, so that is the first law, closure law. Let A comma B belongs to Z, then this implies A plus B is also belonging to Z. Therefore, Z is closed with respect to addition plus. So we can say it is closed because plus is, we know it can operate two numbers and the operation will be resulting in a number. That result will be another integer. Therefore, Z is closed. You understand? When I operate, when I add two numbers, the resultant is also an integer. Therefore, Z is closed with respect to addition. This is called closure law. Second one, commutative law. Let A comma B belongs to Z. We know A plus B is always B plus A because addition is always commutative. So addition plus is, since plus is always commutative, therefore Z is commutative. The set Z is obeying commutative law. Z is commutative with respect to addition. Now we shall go for associative law. I need three elements, so let A, B, C belongs to Z. And we know that already A plus B plus C is always equal to A plus B plus C. Even when I change the order, it should be always equal because we know addition is always associative. Therefore, plus is associative in Z. Fourth one, existence of identity. Let me introduce an element E belongs to Z. Be the identity element. So let me take the identity element as E. Be the identity element. That means either A plus E or E plus A equal to A. The identity won't be equal. So let me take the first element A plus E. Let be equal to A, E equal to A minus A, E equal to 0. Therefore, 0 definitely belongs to Z, is the identity element. Identity element. So the identity element is 0. So we know already if it is addition, then 0 is the identity element. Similarly, if it is addition, we know negative numbers is the inverse element. So fifth property, I am doing here existence of inverse. Let, I can take any element, let something A or some X belongs to Z. Then there exists minus X in Z such that X plus of minus x or minus x plus x, I will get the answer as 0, where 0 is what? The identity. Therefore, minus x is the inverse of x for every x belongs to Z. So this is how we found everything. We proved the set Ez with respect to plus is closed, it's commutative, it obeys associative property, there is an identity element existing, and also there is an inverse is existing. But we know already, if addition is the operation, identity will be always 0, the inverse will be the negative elements. So if we keep like this in our mind, we won't be forgetting. That is, whenever addition is there, the identity is 0, the inverse is negative elements. So with that, this example is over. Example 12.2 is over. Now we shall go for example 12.3. Verify that. Same thing, closure property, commutative property, associative property, existence of identity, existence of inverse. For the arithmetic operation, plus for the arithmetic operation, minus on Z. So we shall see whether subtraction obeys all these properties. So whereas this is for the previous one. So it is example 12.3. We know, first we shall go for closure law. Before going to this, minus sign is not a binary operation. Where binary operation on n. What is n? Set of natural numbers. Suppose if two numbers I am taking, then for example maybe 5 and 2, then 5 minus 2 is 3. Definitely this belongs to n. Whereas suppose if I take 2 minus 5, then it is minus 3. This does not belong to n. So minus is not properly defined in n. Therefore minus is not at all a binary operation in set of natural numbers. But whereas in integers it is a binary operation. But minus sign is a binary operation on Z, because again the same number 5 minus 2 is 3, definitely it is an integer. Similarly 2 minus 5 is also minus 3, which is again belongs to Z. Whether they are equal or not, but they are getting an answer which is an integer. Therefore it is a binary operation. Minus is a binary operation Z. Now we should go for closure law. Since it is a binary operation on Z, let A comma B belongs to Z, then A minus B is it negative number or positive number, definitely belongs to Z. Therefore minus is not even a binary operation, it is also well defined. It is not at all only well defined, it is also a obeys the closure law. So Z is closed or Z obeys closure law. Closure law with respect to minus sign. So it is closed. Now we shall go for commutative property. A minus B definitely won't be equal to B minus A. Therefore, minus is not commutative on Z. So we know commutative property is not all obeyed by minus sign. Now, when we go for associative law, again we have a peculiarity in associative property. A minus B minus C definitely won't be equal to A minus B minus C. You know very well. A minus B will be, suppose if it is positive, minus C, it may be positive or negative. Similarly, that won't be equal to A minus B minus C. Whatever be the number, therefore, minus sign is not associative on Z. Now, coming for identity, the identity won't exist because it is not at all commutative first. Identity element. Identity does not exist. We can say here itself, identity does not exist because minus sign is not commutative. Because an identity element definition we know A minus C, A plus A star E equal to E star A equal to A. So if it is minus A minus E must be equal to E minus A, whereas this is not, but it is not equal, therefore there won't be any identity element existence. Therefore identity does not exist because minus is not commutative. Regarding inverse, inverse does not exist. Inverse does not exist because we know does not exist because we know there is no identity element, that's all, because there is no existence of identity. There is no existence of identity. Only if identity exists, inverse will exist. Therefore, negative number, negative or the sign minus subtraction is only closed, that's all. It does not obey commutative property, it is not at all obeying associative property, there won't be any identity element and there won't be any inverse element too. Therefore, this is about example 12.3. Now we shall go for 12.4. The same question. Verify closure property, commutative property, associative property, existence of identity and existence of inverse for the operation, same operation plus on ZE, set of all even integers, set of all even integers. I am going to take integers only with even numbers. And we are going to check addition is a binary operation and whether it is obeying all these properties or not. That is the next question. That is our example 12.4. That is what is defined? ZE means set of all even integers. That is we say as 2k. Any element multiplied with 2, definitely it will be an even number. So 2k is the general notation for even elements. So 2k, where k belongs to any integer. So this is the set of all even integers. Now we shall check for all the properties. Closure property. Let, shall I take 2x, 2y belongs to ZE, then only we can say they are conformably even numbers. Then 2x plus 2y is 2 into x plus y, which is even. Therefore, addition is closed now. As if addition is closed on Z. Therefore, when I take 2x plus 2y, 2 into x plus y, even x plus y is odd. When it is multiplied with 2, it will become even. So definitely this belongs to ZE. So addition is closed on ZE. We shall go for associate commutative property. Let 2a comma 2b belongs to ZE. 2a plus 2b equal to 2 into a plus b. Now 2b plus 2a becomes 2 into b plus a. I can write it as 2 into a plus b, which is equal to 2a plus 2b. Therefore, 2a plus 2b equal to 2b plus 2a. Therefore, plus is commutative. Let 2a comma 2b comma 2c belongs to Z. 2a plus 2b plus 2c if I take as per the bracket 2a to a plus b plus 2c. Here 2 is common. Shall I write as a plus b plus c into 2? Now if I change the order 2a plus 2b plus 2c, then it is 2a plus 2 into b plus c. Now I can take 2 as a common term, then I will get a plus b plus c. See, both are equal. That means these two orders are equal. Therefore, addition is associative. Associative on Z. Set of all even integers. So, we proved it is closed, it is commutative, and also the even integers obey associative property with respect to the binary operation plus. Now, we shall go for the next one, existence of identity. It's not necessary, I must take it as 2e, the existence of identity. Let, if we do not know what is identity, we can take it as E. Let E be the identity element. That means what? Either 2x plus E or E plus 2x, the answer must be 2x. For every 2x belongs to Z. So let me take the first two. 2x plus E equal to 2x. Then E equal to 2x minus 2x. E equal to what? 0. Definitely an even number belongs to ZE. Is the identity. Now we shall go for the inverse element. Fifth one. Inverse element. The existence of inverse element. I have to find out the inverse element. It's not necessary I can take it as some two element. That is, let m dash be the inverse of 2m. That is 2m plus m dash. 2m plus m dash or m dash plus 2m. The answer is E. If I take 2m plus m dash, we know the identity element is 0 since E equal to 0. Then m dash is minus 2m. Remember, if it is addition, negative number is the inverse. Therefore, minus 2m is the inverse. For every 2m belongs to Z. Therefore, inverse is existing in this set of all integers. So, from this what you understood, set of all even integers obeys closure property, commutative property, associative property, and there is identity and also inverse with respect to addition. Now we shall go for example 12.5. Same question, verify closure property, commutative property, associative property, existence of identity and existence of inverse for the operation plus on is set 0. That is set of all odd integers. Now, no need to do this problem, just listen to me. Suppose if I take only closure law, we have Z equal to set of all even integers are where k belongs to Z. K belongs to Z. So, any number, even it is odd or even, when it is multiplied with 2, it becomes even. When it is added with 1, definitely it will become odd. Set of all odd integers now. Now let me take 1D closure law. Let something x and y be any two odd numbers. Then x plus y equal to what? An even integer. Remember, any two odd numbers addition results in even. 3 plus 7, for example, when it is 10, which is even. If I take any two odd numbers, then the addition gives me even. So, addition itself is not defined well. That is, when I add two odd numbers, I am not getting an odd number as the answer. Therefore, addition on ZO is not a binary operation. Is not a binary operation. Therefore, all these properties won't exist. Therefore, all properties won't exist. All properties will not exist. This is problem on odd integers. 6. When I add two numbers, there are odd numbers, the result will be on even only. So definitely I won't get an odd number as the answer. Therefore, all these properties won't exist in set of all odd numbers. With that example, 12.5 is over. Example 12.6. Verify closure property, commutative property, associative property only. We are not at all interested on inverse and identity. On an operation, on an operation defined by A star B means A power B. For every A comma B belongs to natural numbers. N. So given N equal to, we now set up our natural numbers. First law, closure law. Let A comma B belongs to N. By definition, A star B means what? A power B. Any number exponential form, definitely it will be a natural number. Definitely this belongs to N. Therefore, star is well defined in N. Therefore, it is closed. Therefore, star is closed on set N. Now, commutative property. A star B means A power B. Then what will be B star A? B star A is B power A. Definitely A power B is not equal to B power A. Therefore, A star B is not equal to B star A. Therefore, star is not commutative. So, star is not commutative on N. Then, associative property. Let me take three elements, A star B star C. As per star, it is A power B star C. Then it is A power B power C. Power of power means I can multiply. It is A power BC. We shall say the other order. We shall see what happens to the other order. A star B star C. It is A star. As per bracket, it is B power C. Then as per the star, it is A power B power C. Therefore, these two are not equal. Therefore, A star B star C is not equal to A star B star C. Therefore, star is not associative on N. Therefore, from this, it is obeying only closure law. There is no commutative property and there is no associative property. Example 12.7. Important problem. Verify closure property, commutative property, associative property. 12.7. Fourth one, existence of an identity and fifth one, existence of inverse on Z defined by A star B equal to A plus B minus A. Sorry, they are defined in M and N, defined by M plus N, M star N equal to M plus N minus N. For every M comma N belongs to Z. That means star means what? You add two elements and you multiply these two elements and then find the difference. That's the meaning for star. Star means what? Add two elements, multiply two elements and then subtract. M star N means what? Add two elements, multiply two elements and then find the difference. This is the star defined here. So we shall see whether as per the star, this Z is holding all these 5 properties. First one, closure law. Let A comma B belongs to Z. By definition, A star B means what? A plus B minus A. A plus B is an integer, we know. AB is also an integer, we know. When I subtract two integers, definitely that will be another integer. So definitely this belongs to Z. Therefore, star is closed on Z. Second property, commutative property. Let A comma B belongs to Z. We know A star B means A plus B minus AB. Now if I change the order B star A, then it is B plus A minus BA as per the star. But we know B plus A can be written as A plus B minus BA can be written as AB. So is it not our A star B? See, B star A equal to A star B. So star is commutative on Z. Third, associative property. For associative law, I need three elements. Let A, B, C belongs to Z. Then A star B star C. If I take the first two elements, then as per star A plus B minus AB star C. I must add these two elements, that is bracket with C. That is A plus B minus AB plus C minus, I must multiply these two elements, that is A plus B minus AB into C. Now remove this bracket, it is A plus B minus AB plus C. While multiply with minus C, minus AC, minus BC plus ABC. If I rearrange A plus B plus C minus AB minus AC minus BC plus ABC. Now we shall rearrange the brackets. A star B star C. It is A star. As per this bracket, it is B plus C minus BC. Now A star bracket, that means I must add A with this bracket minus I must multiply A with this bracket, that is A plus bracket minus A into bracket. Are you able to follow? A plus bracket minus A into bracket. Now remove the brackets, it is A plus B plus C minus BC minus AB minus AC plus ABC. Is it not A plus B plus C minus AB minus AC minus BC plus ABC? Are they equal? Therefore, A star B star C equal to A star B star C. Therefore, star is associative on Z. Therefore, from this we came to understand that is obeying closure law, is obeying commutative law, and also it is obeying associative property. Now we shall go for finding the identity element. So property number 4, existence of identity. We do not know the identity, so let me introduce E as the identity element. Let E be the identity element on Z. That means what will obey? Either A star E or E star A. The answer will be A for every A belongs to Z. So it is A star E equal to A. As per star, it is A plus E minus AE. I have to add these two and then I have to multiply these two and then I have to subtract E equal to A. E minus AE equal to A. When I take A to the same minus A. Here E is common. 1 minus A equal to 0. E equal to 0 by 1 minus A equal to 0. Therefore, E equal to 0 is the identity element. So, is 0 belongs to Z? Yes. It also belongs to Z. Therefore, E equal to 0 is the identity element. Now, we should go for finding the inverse. Fifth one. Let X dash be the inverse of X. That means what? Either X star X dash or X dash star X. The answer is the identity. So let me take either one. X star X dash equal to E. Is it X plus X dash minus X into X dash equal to identity is 0. Since E equal to 0. From this, we shall find what is the X dash is. So X dash minus X into X dash equal to 0 minus X is minus X. I have to find X dash. 1 minus X equal to minus X. So X dash is what? Minus X by 1 minus X. Or I can write as plus X by X minus 1. So I take the minus and cancel. So is the inverse of X if X is not equal to minus X is not equal to 1 because if it is becoming 1 minus 1 becomes 0, the X dash will be identity. So identity will be existing only if X is not equal to 1. Therefore, identity is existing only the case when X is not taking the value 1. Therefore, the set obeys all the 5 laws and only in inverse we have a condition. The inverse is existing only if X is not equal to 1. With that, this example 12.7 is over. So we'll go for next example. Example 12.8. This is the problem dealing on, we used to say Boolean matrices. Just listen to me. Let A equal to 0, 1, 1, 1. B equal to 1, 1, 0, 1. B, any two Boolean matrices. Find, we used to say A disjunction B and A conjunction B. A, this B with this notation is called disjunction. We used to say R, what is R also. This is called conjunction. Conjunction or AND capital. So it is ARB 0, 1, 1, 1 R 1, 1, 0, 1. R means plus. You can write plus also there. R means plus. We know how to add, but only thing is 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is not 2. 1 plus 1 is 1. So 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 1 will be 1. This is how they are, right? This is called a disjunction B. Similarly, A conjunction B. Conjunction is 0, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 1, 0, 1. Here and means into, that means you have to multiply. But here it is not row and column matrix multiplication, just the positions must be multiplied as we did for addition. That is 0 into 1 is 0. 1 into 1 is 1. 1 into 0, 0. 1 into 1, 1. That's all. This is called operations on Boolean matrices. That's all. Once again, A or B means I have to add in addition 1 plus 1 will give you 1 only. Similarly, A and B means you must multiply. Here the multiplication means it is not row and column multiplication, just the position multiplication. That's all. Now we shall go for example 12.9. Verify closure property, commutative property, associative property, existence of identity, and fifth one, existence of inverse. For operation, here the operation is plus 5 on Z5 using corresponding to addition modulo 5. Addition modulo 5. This plus 5 means it is called addition modulo 5. That means I have to do the operation addition modulo 5 on Z5 elements. Z5 elements means I am taking the elements of Z5 means all these elements are called residue class. Here I have the residue terms 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So totally I will have 5 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means I am just collecting the numbers. When the number is divided by 5, here the 5 times 25, the residue will be 0. Like that, all the residues whose remainders are 0 are taken here. Similarly, suppose if I have some 26, if it is divided by 5, 25 times 25, the remainder will be 1. Like that, wherever I get 1, when 5 is divided by that number, then all the ones are collected. Similarly, 2, 3, 4. These kind of numbers are collected. This is called addition modulo class 5 or residue class modulo 5. Now, I have to add these numbers among them. So, let me have a table. Plus 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, see how we are adding. We shall have a table known as Callie's table, but in this year the name is not that much important, so you don't need to worry about the table's name. Now listen here. I have to add these numbers. The only thing, since it is modulo 5, the number should not exceed 5. 5 or more, that is, it should not exceed 5. Suppose if I add two numbers and if it is becoming more 5 or 5, then I must divide by 5 and I must take only the remainder. That's the meaning. See, it's very simple only, just listen to me. When 0 is added with all these numbers, 0 plus 0, 0, 0 plus 1, 1, 0 plus 2, 2, 0 plus 3, 3, 0 plus 4, 4. So I have taken all the numbers as it is because all are less than 5. Now you add with 1, 1 plus 0, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 1 plus 2, 3, 1 plus 3, 4, 1 plus 5, 5. When 5 is divided by 5, 1 time 5, the remainder is 0. I must take only the remainder, not the quotient, remainder. But it is very simple, you don't need to divide like that. Any number, if it is coming with more than 5, just remove number of 5s, that's all. See, once again, 2 plus 0, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 2 plus 2, 4, 2 plus 3, 5. Remove 5, it becomes 0. 2 plus 4, 6. Remove 5, you will get 1. So the answer is 1. Just remove number of 5s. 3 plus 0, 3. 3 plus 1, 4. 3 plus 2, 5. Remove 5, 0. 3 plus 3, 6. Remove 5, 1. 3 plus 4, 7. Remove 5. The answer will be 2. Similarly, 4 plus 0, 4. 4 plus 1, 5. So if you remove 5, 0. 4 plus 2, 6. If we remove 5, it will become 1. 4 plus 3, 7. Remove 5, 2. 4 plus 4, 8. Remove 5, you will get 3. So this is the answer. This is called addition modulo of 5. The number is more than 5 or equal to 5. Remove number of 5s. You will get the remaining numbers. Now from this table I have to check whether everything is obeyed. That is, all the properties are obeyed. Closure property. See, I am getting the answers as nothing but 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am just getting the answers what are there in the sets already. That means from the table what we have understood, all the entries means these numbers are elements in Z5, isn't it? All these entries are nothing but elements of Z5. Therefore, Z5 is closed. So the closure property is obeyed. Now, let me rub this. We shall go for commutative property. Commutative property. We know addition is always commutative, so straightly we can say from the table, or you can check also 2 plus 2, 4, or something 3 plus 4, 2. So 4 plus 3 is also 2. So you don't need to mention there, just write like this. From the table, addition modulo of 5 is commutative. You don't need to give any example. Third one, associative property. Again, addition will be always associative, so you can say from the table Z5 plus 5 is associative, because we know addition always obeys associative law. Identity element. Remember, if it is addition, 0 is the identity. Just to check, 0 plus 0, 0. Here I am getting 0, 0, 0, 3 plus 2, 0, 4, 0. So 0 is the identity. We know addition, 0 is the identity element. 0 belongs to Z5, is the identity element. You don't need to check or anything, we can straightly write, because we know in addition 0 is always the identity. Now, inverse element. Whenever, if I operate 2 element and if I get identity is the answer, then that is the inverse. So when 0 is added with 0, I am getting 0. So 0's inverse is 0. 1 plus 4 is 0. So 1's inverse is 4. 2's inverse is 3. 3's inverse is 2. And 4's inverse is 1. Because in all those addition I am getting the result as 0. So the inverse of 0 is 0. Inverse of 1 is 4. The inverse of 2 is 3. The inverse of 3 is 2. And inverse of 4 is 1. And the inverse of 4 is 1. The inverse of the inverse. That's all. We did all this part. So the very easiest problem. Just if you know the operation, you can write the remaining as it is. From the table, You just write all the entries in the table are elements in J already, therefore Z5 is closed. We know addition is always commutative, so you just write plus 5 is commutative, and you also mention from the table you understood. Similarly, from the table you understood Z5 is plus 5 is always associative. In addition, we know 0 is the identity always, so 0 is the identity, and you can find out the results wherever 0 is coming. There the inverse exists. For 1's inverse is 4, 2's inverse is 3, 3's inverse is 2, and 4's inverse is 1, 0 inverse is 0. Example 2.10. Verify a similar problem. Verify closure property, commutative property, associative property, existence of identity, and existence of inverse. For operation multiplication modulo 11, the previous problem we did addition modulo 5. Addition modulo 5, now it is multiplication modulo 11. On a subset, they have taken a special set 1, 3, 4, 5, 9. Only these elements they have taken and they are verifying of the set of reminders. Of the set of reminders, they have taken a subset from this set. What is that set? Reminder 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because these are the reminders when 11 is divided by the numbers. So in that one they picked only these numbers and they are asking us to check whether this number obeys all this property under 11 multiplication, that is modulo multiplication of 11. So given, let me take E given, we should take given itself, A equal to 1, 3, 4, 5, 9. So we shall have a table for this one. Multiplication modulo 11. 1, 3, 4, 5, 9. 1, 3. 4, 5, 9. Draw the table. What I have to do, remember, I have to multiply two numbers and it must be less than 11 means I must enter. If it is greater than number, I have to multiply two number. If it is greater or equal to 11, I must divide by 11 and I must write only the reminders. That means, very simple, after multiplication, remove number of 11s, that's all. See, 1 into 1, 1, 1 into 3, 3, 1 into 4, 4, 1 into 5, 5, 1 into 9, 9. All are less than 11, so I entered as it is. Now 3 into 1, 3, 3 3s are 9, 3 4s are 12, remove 11, it is 1. 3 5s are 15, remove 11, it is 4. 3 9s are 27, I can remove 22, isn't it? Remove number of 11s, so the remainder is 5. I hope you can understand well. When 3 into 4, 12, remove 11, you will get 1. 3 into 5, 15, remove 11, you will get 4. 3 into 9, 27, I can have 2 11s in this, that is 22. So remove 22, remainder will be 5. Similarly, now I hope you will be understanding very well. 4 1s are 4, 4 3s are 12, 12 minus 11, 1. 4 4s are 16, 11 can be removed, so remainder is 5. 4 5s are 20, again 11 can be removed, so it is 9. 4 nines are 36. 33 can be removed. So remainder is 3. Number of 11s are 33 and 36. So remove number of 11s in a number. That's all. Now 5 ones are 5. 5 threes are 15. Remove 11, 4. 5 fours are 20. Remove 11, 9. 5 fives are 25. Remove 22. Remainder is 3. So number of 11s in 25 is 2. 22. Similarly, 5 fives are 25, so the remainder is 3. 5 nines are 45, we can remove 44, therefore it is 1. Now can you write straightly? 9 ones are 9, 9 threes are 27, 22 is removed, 5. 9 fours are 36, 33 is removed, 3. 9 fives are 45, 44 is removed, 1. 9 nines are 81, 77 can be removed, so remainder is 4. That's all. Hope you will be understanding very well. Once again I repeat, 5 nines, suppose if you take 5 nines are 45, remove number of 11s, 44 can be removed, so it is 1. Now we can write all these properties. Closure property. Now listen here. I am getting the answers 1, 3, 4, 5, 9 in all the operations. See, 1, 3, 4, 5, 9 only I am getting. So from the table, what I have understood, all the entries in the table are already elements in A. Therefore, multiplication modulo 11 is closed in A. So, all the first one, the closure property is obeyed by this table, by this set. Second one, commutative property. We know multiplication always obey commutative property. So, I can say from the table, multiplication 11 is commutative. No need any verification. It is understood. Multiplication always obey commutative in A. Third one, associative law. Again, multiplication always obey associative law. So from the table, multiplication modulo 11 is associative. You can check, but it's not necessary also. Multiplication always obeys associative law. Fourth one, identity. Remember, if it is multiplication, 1 is the identity. Is 1 there, see, 1 into 3, 3, 1 into 4, 4. 1 won't get involved in that multiplication. So 1 belongs to A, is the identity. So it is understood always, if it is addition, 0 is the identity. If it is multiplication, 1 is the identity. Fifth one, the inverse elements. Just to check where 1 is coming, that is where identity is coming. 1 is multiplied with 1, 1 I am getting. Therefore 1's inverse is 1. When 3 is multiplied with 4, I am getting 1. So 3's inverse is 4. Then 4's inverse is 3. 5's inverse is 9. And 9 is multiplied with 5, I am getting 1. So 9's inverse is 5. So straightly, the inverse of 1 is 1. Okay, no need to go for square numbers also. 1 is 1. The inverse of 3 is 4. The inverse of 4 is 3. The inverse of 5 is 9. And the inverse of 9 is 5. With that, this problem is over. With that, all the examples are over.